Hi and welcome back to my channel. So I'm excited about this week's coaching video, you guys, because today I'm going to be talking about ending 2017 strong and starting 2018 stronger. So let's jump right on in. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to reflect on what you've accomplished or achieved so far this year. So if you need to, hit that pause button, but if not, you can do it at the end of the video. But I want you to really reflect and think about the things that you've accomplished or you've achieved so far this year. So have you achieved at least 75% of the goals that you intended to achieve? Or did you just write those goals down and you did nothing with them? Because for a lot of people, that's exactly what happens. Now, I'll be honest with you. I had my goals written down in January of this year, and along the way, some of those goals changed because some of those goals were no longer really a priority for me, and so I had to change some of them. Some of them I had to upgrade a little bit, if you will, to make it something a little bit more than what I had written down. But nonetheless, some people just have thrown their goals by the wayside. Here's the other question. Did you write down any goals to begin with? Because again, a lot of people haven't done that at all. Some of you didn't write down anything that you wanted to achieve for this year. So I want to encourage you going into 2018 that you do write down some goals. When you write down your goals, it gives you something to work towards, So just my 2 cents. So if you have not been diligently following your plan, nor have any plans to begin with, there's a high chance that you're going to let this year slip by again. And that's what I don't want. You ever talk to somebody and they get to the end of the year and they go, you know what, this year sure went by quick. I can't even think about, I can't think of, I don't even remember anything that I may have done. And that's pretty sad. So I don't want you to be that person. So this is how you're going to end this year strong, but begin 2018 even stronger. So I want you to, number one, acknowledge how powerful your dreams are, okay? Again, acknowledge how powerful your dreams are. And I don't know about you, but when I have a dream about something, I wake up and I write it down because I believe that there's a reason why that dream came to me. And now sometimes, let me say this, sometimes it doesn't mean that I need to do something with the information from the dream. Maybe it's something that I need to pass on to someone else, but I always write it down. So you need to first look to yourself and find out what is burning within you that you want to achieve. Is it more family time? Is it health, wealth, or perhaps happiness? It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be meaningful for you. It has to be meaningful for me. This is absolutely critical, as you must know the end goal in mind before you can start to work on it. Again, I can't know where my end goal is. I can't start on my end goal, if I don't know where it's going. Okay? Because then I'm just kind of spinning my wheels. So a life without purpose or aspiration is a life without direction. How can you achieve your dreams if you don't know what those dreams are? A person can say, I want to be rich and wealthy. But like most people, this person may have neglected to define his or her goal on how to get there. Of course, I can say I want to be rich and wealthy, but if I don't have a plan of how to get there, then that's just useless. So how rich is being rich? Would having $50 in your wallet, or I should say $50 extra in your wallet, would that be rich for you? And guess what? For some people, that is rich to have an extra $50 in their pocket at any given time. That can be rich. Do you want $1 million, or do you want $1 million instead? What currency do you want your money to be in? What's your timeline? How do you intend to go about getting it? So you want to use the SMART goal setting. And I think we've talked about this before. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, and they're realistic. Realistic/reasonable. And they're time oriented. So let's break that down. So specific. Be specific on what you want to achieve. If you want a car, write down the make and the model. Print out an image of the car or draw one yourself if you're artistically inclined. Make sure you can see it and visualize it in your head. The clearer the mental image in your head, the easier it becomes for you to make it into a reality. Measurable. Make sure you have something in place that allows you to measure your goals. For example, let's say in other words, when you write this out, you want to write it out such that I want to accomplish blank What's your big goal? By blank. What's your time frame? In order to do so, I need to do blank. That's where you list out the small goals. By blank, your time. What time frame do you have for making this, come to fruition? And do blank, another small goal by blank. That's your time. Put your goals and numbers into the above and into that equation that I just gave you. And I'll link that in the description box. So put that in the equation and then do it. Once you write it down, do it. Some people write down stuff all day long, honey. They never step out and do anything because you're worried about failing. You're worried about what other people are going to think. Who cares about what they think? Put it down on paper and then begin to move so that you can accomplish those things. By being able to measure your achievements, you have a better idea of how much you can indeed achieve. So this brings us to the next point. Achievable. You have to make a big goal or multiple big goals great. You know how to measure them as well. And that's a great thing because we just talked about how to measure them, right? So we're making progress. So I want you to keep up. So the next trap that most people fall into is either one, they set low goals so that you can achieve them. And once you achieve them easily, that's it, you're done. They set goals that are too high and you end up intimidating yourself. Lord, I can't even see with these glasses on. So you set your goals that are too high and you end up intimidating yourself and not taking action. And that happens quite often. So keep your goals big. They are necessary, but then you break them down into smaller, achievable goals. And then you work towards that. By having your big goals broken up into smaller goals and then being able to measure them in order to adjust your expectations and efforts accordingly, you are all set. Let's look at weight. If you've ever been a member of Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig, I was Weight Watchers, Lifetime Weight Watchers to be exact. When you go to Weight Watchers, right, you write down your goal. Your overall goal, I should say. Your first small goal is losing 10% of whatever that goal is you have. Your first goal is losing 10%. Then after that, your next goal is to lose 10% of that. 10% of that until you get where you want to be. So yes, if you go into Weight Watchers, which I did not, I won't, I'll be very honest with you. When I joined Weight Watchers, it's because I was having problems losing 20 pounds. It took me a year to lose 20 pounds because I had to make up in my mind that I was going to be serious and do it. Sometimes I got on program on Monday, and if I fell off by lunchtime, I said, to heck with it, I'll start again next Monday. Not a good thing to do, but this is what I did, okay? And a lot of people do this as well. But if, let's say my big goal is to lose 100 pounds. Thank God it is not. But if it was to lose 100 pounds, guess what? If I work on just losing 10 pounds, now that may not be a lot to you. It may not be a lot to me. But for the person that loses that first 10 pounds, imagine how much of a confidence booster that is. Just 10 pounds. That's it. And they say, well, you know what? I done lost 10 pounds. Let me keep going with this. And guess what? They dropped 10, 15 pounds more. And they're getting even more excited because guess what? Now the clothes are becoming smaller. They may not need that big size that they had when they joined Weight Watchers and so forth and so on. So that way you don't get overwhelmed. Make your big goal into much smaller goals, and I promise you, you will stick to whatever it was that you said you were going to do. Let me move on. Realistic and reasonable. Remember when I talked about people having too small of a goal to be feasible, the same thing goes for people who set goals larger outside the realm of logic. Big goals are good. Big goals that are realistic are perfect. Okay, and that's that whole losing the 10% with Weight Watchers thing. So time oriented. So there's no easy way around this, right? For every big and small goal that you have, attach a deadline. So that's the problem with us. We don't attach deadlines. We just say, I'm going to do this, and we just, we work towards it, and it seems like if I'm standing here, that goal is just so far away because I don't have deadlines. So Create the big goal, but then set smaller deadlines as you go forward, because in that way you don't get overwhelmed. Okay? And so when you attach a deadline, it ensures that these deadlines are monitored frequently, right? If you're on track, good job. If not, revisit your goals and see if they are realistic and adjust accordingly. Because sometimes when we set goals, we're not getting to those goals because some of them just aren't realistic. They aren't. Now, yes, you read, and I'm still talking about weight. I'm using that as an example. You read, or I've read, I should say, where people say, oh my God, I've lost 50 pounds in 1 month. Realistically, that's not realistic. You can if you're starving yourself. You can if you live in that gym all day, every day, like the people you see on The Biggest Loser. But realistically, that's not realistic for everybody. So you've got to make those goals realistic. So the key is to have a progressive improvement plan. Success isn't a single step forward, but rather a long and winding staircase that will force you to stop, but don't. Be smart in your goals and know that you're going to achieve great things and continue ahead. Let's talk about execution. 1 second here. Okay, so we're going to talk about execution. And sorry, you guys. Often we're caught up in situations where there are 1,001 tasks that require our attention. And we become so overwhelmed that we are paralyzed in thought. So you want to apply these techniques and you'll see your efficiency rate increase. So let me go back. So another useful piece of information is that Richard, who is who wrote the Train of Thought, what is this? The train of thought goes like this: easiest to the hardest, deepest to the widest. Okay? So easiest to the hardest, do the easy things first, then followed by the hardest. And that just makes sense, right? Those things that can easily be taken care of should just get it done immediately and crossed off your list. Get it done, move on. For example, writing a thank you email or buying a small gift. By completing the easiest tasks first, you're setting yourself up for success by not letting the small tasks bog your mental facilities down. There are many people who feel that the other way around works better for them, and it might. And if it does, I say go for it. There is no right or wrong way to do this, and the most important thing is that you are comfortable and productive. So deepest to widest. This part may be confusing, but it's highly beneficial towards prioritizing and maximizing your communication. When doing something, do it to the best of your ability and demand the highest standard. Find the root cause and tackle the problem at its core. This is also known as the deepest part. Next, tackle the possible spillovers that may derive from your deepest. This is known as your widest. If you are preparing for a presentation, for instance, make sure your core managers are clearly understood by your audience as part of the deepest aspect. You then work on the widest aspects, such as your supporting images and animation sequence. Next, we're going to talk about monitor and review. Finally, this is the last step, is to monitor the progress of your action plan and review them accordingly. And I want to leave you with this quote. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. Okay? You've got to just get out there and you just do it. There's no reason why any of us can't succeed in 2018. When I say succeed, I mean succeed in achieving your goals in 2018 if you start to lay the groundwork, just like I talk about planting a tree. Plant the seed now such that this time next year, your goals will be in full bloom. Okay? But if you don't plant the seed, then, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so let's do a quick recap and I'll let you be. So again, today we talked about how to end 2017 strong. and start 2018 even stronger. So we talked about acknowledge how powerful your dreams are. And your dreams are very, very, very much so powerful. If you're having dreams about things, dreams of your success, I would suggest you write them down and then kind of break them down to see what this dream really means, because there is something in there that you need to be doing, or if it's not for you, something that you should be passing on to someone else. And then we talked about making your goals smart. That means they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're realistic, and they're time oriented. Specific meaning that you need to be specific on what it is that you want to achieve. Okay? Don't just set random goals. Be specific on what it is that you want to achieve. They need to be measurable. Make sure you have something in place that allows you to measure your goals. Okay? And that means the big goals and all the big goals with time frames that you want to complete them. And then we talked about achievable. You have a big goal or multiple big goals, great. Then you know how to measure them using the SMART goal setting. But you want to make sure that you're not setting low goals so you can achieve them quickly, and then that's it. You want to make sure you're not setting goals that are too high and they end up intimidating you, and then you're not taking action at all. We talked about realistic and reassurable. We talked about there's no easy way around it. And the key is to have a progressive improvement plan. You've got to have that, okay? And then we talk about execution. So, you have to execute. If you don't execute, you're not going to achieve your goals. And then we talked about easiest to hardest. And this is based on something that was written called the train of thought. And your easiest, hardest is followed by the when you do the easy things, you're followed up by the hard things. For some people, they do the hard things and follow up the easy things. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just whatever works for you. And then your deepest to your widest, which is the what do we say? That's when doing something, you do it to the best of your ability and demand the highest standard. Find the root cause and tackle the problem at its core. This is called your deepest. And then we talked about the widest is when you have spillover from your deepest. That spillover becomes your widest now. Okay? And then we talked about the final step is to monitor the progress of your action plan and then review them accordingly. I would say review them every day. Some people may want to only do it once a week. It really depends on you. There's no right or wrong way. Every day, once a week, just review. And then the quote that I left you with, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is right now. Okay? That's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much, my newest subscribers. Thank you so much for those of you that continue to support me in all that I do. I love you guys to the moon and back, and I can't wait until we talk again next week. Until then, take care.